Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holocrunch Popcorn. Now, I want to start by correcting myself and saying Happy Easter to my Christian sisters and brothers. I found out I said to my Christian brothers, but to my Christian sisters and brothers, it's time to celebrate Jesus' sacrifice for us and to remind us not to be like Judas, who betrayed people who care about us and love us. So happy Easter, Didi.
Happy Easter. And
where's the rice? Oh, we have rice on the show today.
Oh,
so
well, there's that. Do you have any plans?
You know, I don't know. It's Tenda's birthday tomorrow.
Okay, so Tenda is hosting us.
House.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's good.
So at least we have plans. So we're talking about mental health. I get very scared when I go on social media right now, especially Twitter, because of the election. And the word in everybody's mouth now is bigotry, this bigot, this bigot. And I saw Wole Soyinka had an interview where he said something, and I saw people attack him massively. And then Chimamanda wrote an article. Then I saw people attack her. And anybody who speaks for or against either of them, you now get a ton of people attacking me. And I thought most of this would be before the election, and after that we move on. But what's your take on social media right now?
It all, comes down from the aftermath. A lot of people, dare I say 80% of Nigerians actually have been upset at, everything that went on during the elections, before the election, the actual election days, and after the election. And social media obviously was like the main focus during that period. So a lot of this anger comes from there. So when you attack this particular person, everybody that, their followers will definitely attack you. Yeah. If you attack this other person, the followers will definitely attack you. So that's where it's coming from, that's uproar.
But I actually think this started from 2014, 2015, that election. And so a lot of young people got more vocal. And also this is because of the internet. And then that spilled on to NSAS. Yeah. And so I think it's that energy that transferred into this election.
Oh,
and
yes.
Now that the election is over, it's now transferred. And if I'm a media person, I'm on TV, I'm saying I'm scared of social media right now. Imagine what it does to the mental health of people who can't deal with it. And so yesterday was World Mental Health Day. Now in Nigeria, we now have a mental health bill, and I want to applaud the young people who fought tooth and nail, and the members of the National Assembly and the President for making this come into law. I do understand they had a press conference yesterday, and coming from this election and seeing the amount of bar and anger online, it's extremely important. We talk about mental health and the election, and joining us on today's show we have
Chinyere Onyekwere, who is a clinical psychologist at NIM Foundation. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, Chinyere. Thanks for always coming back to give us free advice, because therapy is expensive, not just in Nigeria. So that's not my first question, but let's start with that. Why is
Nigeria now viewers around the world?
Say, oh,
8 a.m. in the
deal with your mental health. Why is it expensive? So let's start with that. That was my question.
Let me now tell you that therapy in my organization is very affordable.
NIM
Foundation therapy.
This is free PR. So yes, take advantage of
every week.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So let's talk about the press conference.
However, I always start
was held yesterday.
And this week, we will be talking about the National Assembly.
People who
so just a couple of days ago in the news, we saw that a bill to ensure that Nigerian trained doctors
so Nigerian Mental Health Human Rights Commission and a couple of organizations came together to also advocate for the mental health bill. And it was fitting that after the bill had been assented, that we come out and give a press conference also just to speak to the content and also speak to what we want going forward. Part of what the press conference was on was we had a 10-point agenda that we did put forward, and we also have a campaign on suicide not crime that we want to also start to speak about. So that conference was to bring light to, just bring to light to the content of the bill, and also other campaigns that we want to put together. The mental health bill is a step in the right direction. We applaud the fact that we have a bill that has replaced the lunacy bill. I mean, that was a long time ago. It's an act now. So it's very important that we actually talk about it, get people to read up on it and look at it and
in Nigeria,
understand what it's about. It's a lot about service provision, but there's a lot of work that still needs to be done on the bill. The content of the bill still needs to be
pay them well. Pay them what you pay the National Assembly
but we are grateful that we do have something that replaces a very old bill, and we have to celebrate it, talk about it, and give one or two advice and contribute to the content.
The Nigerian mental health bill has been signed into law.
So that was what the press conference was
seeing what has happened in the last elections, the biggest word in Nigeria right now is bigotry. And so you hear everybody talking about tribalism and bigotry on social media and everywhere in recent times. However, how has the elections affected
I will talk about how it has affected me as a Nigerian.
On our lifestyle
I think we have to look at the elections as quite a significant decision-making moment
are living in hunger,
for the people of Nigeria, for the individual, for whoever it is.
We'll be talking about conflict and how
election tends to thrive a lot on emotions, on your feelings.
We'll also be talking about
so you might find yourself going from a complete high to a complete low, maybe following your candidate or following your party, or and a lot of Nigerians now are dealing with a range of emotions, from those that are excited, those that are disappointed, those that are scared. There's a lot of apprehension around this period, and there's a lot of negative.
This morning we are making Arabian rice.
Scary information that's out there about loss of life, loss of property,
how long does it take to make that?
Chaos, that already gets people agitated.
That gets people concerned.
I had more people speak to me during those periods about,
first of all, the
concerns about anxiety, lots of worry was going on. And somebody even talked about having almost like a traumatic re-experience. We are following the answer, so this kind of gave them that feel of the experience they had during that. There was like a range. People were even talking about having like sleepless nights, depression. We had all that during this election period, and it was quite unfortunate that we had people going through this mental health challenges during this period because of the nature of the election, the uncertainty, and the way that elections generally are. It's a big deal for a lot of people. Emotionally, a lot of people are emotionally invested. So whatever it is, you find yourself, like I said earlier, going from a high to a low and staying in the in-between. Some people are even numb. I actually found myself avoiding content because it was emotionally triggering. You find people that also did that, and a lot of people are also still telling you, oh my goodness, I'm worried, I'm concerned, I'm having this feeling, I'm having that feeling, off of what has happened in the past. So for so many people, it was just a different array of emotions. Remember that your mental health basically talks about your feelings, your thoughts, your behavior. So when this event that can be so destabilizing comes up for some people, you find that your mental health can suffer if you don't protect it. And your mental health can actually enjoy it. We have to look at it from both ways.
When you're announced as the winner,
exactly.
Your mental health will do proper well.
Exactly, you would be in a very good state. So it's also that from this part to that part. So
You just said you avoided content, and I personally avoided social media, particularly Twitter and Instagram, for like a day or two.
Okay.
After the election.
After the election. So well done.
Very well, 48 hours.
I mean, that's so long.
Okay, so what role does social media play in all of this?
Social media plays a big role. It's like information on the go. So when the information is triggering, you find that people are feeling very poorly, especially with their mental health. You might have people experiencing more negative state of mind. But when the information is good and informative, you can also have people having a better mental state, experiencing a better state of mind. Because it's on our phones. It's literally with you on the go. So the content of what is in the social media plays a big role. That's why we always encourage people to focus on content that's a little bit uplifting. Because you have it on the go, it's important for you to not go down that line of exposing yourself to things that you will find to be, keep you in a space or in a headspace that you may not enjoy. Feed yourself with accurate information. And the people who are on social media, please mind what you're posting. Mind what you're posting. Put accurate information. If the information is not true, if it's not verifiable, please don't put it out. Because you're harming a lot of people, and the climb is just not encouraging.
Yeah. I mean, because of what we do, I've heard a lot of stories. And so I heard of a young man in Lagos who I think is 20. So he's a first-time voter. And so he went for the presidential elections in Lagos to vote. And some thugs came with a bus and a group of people and said, you know what, you guys are not allowed to vote. However, they came with their own people and said, 3 people, and this is allegedly because I saw it on social media, so please do not fine us. But they told them, oh, 3 of our people will vote, then 1 of your people will vote. And those were the people who were originally on the line. And then they came together to protest, and this guy was punched in the face. So the gubernatorial election, he didn't want to go and vote. But then he still went, and thugs now came and chased them away. Now, we saw videos of this on social media. We saw videos of voter suppression. And I think was it in Kogi State where it was like the local government chairman was saying disrupting voting somewhere. And I say allegedly just also because we have regulations. However, I saw what I saw. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of us saw this on social media. When NSAS happened, we had government officials coming to say none of that happened. And so I'm coming towards gaslighting. I've also seen friends who I've known for over 10 years go on a massive misinformation and disinformation spree on social media because maybe the candidate of their choice won. But I've also seen a lot of intolerance from people as well. So friends I've seen on both sides of the table. And like you said, managing content, I've had to go and mute a lot of people, especially on Twitter. Now this is bad because for those of us in the media, we have to go and do our own research and get the people's perception and get a feel of the people. But I go online and these people who I didn't have seen what they were saying, I'm now finding that I'm muting and reducing content. Then you go back to government officials coming on national TV to say none of this happened. And so the topic of this question is gaslighting. How much does that go a long way in affecting people's mental health? When you saw something, you experienced it, you saw it. I remember, and sorry this is a rant, but I remember a video of a sitting governor packing money in his agbada. We've seen someone putting money and they were told the need to forensically check the video if it was made up or not. And so you now start asking yourself, am I mad or am I going crazy? What are the effects of gaslighting on people's mental health long term?
Yeah. Not to throw you under the bus,
but bus.
Definitely what you just said, that's what happens to people. You start to question your sanity. You can get angry because you know what you saw. You can get quite, you can get quite disappointed also. You can get yourself so tense or aroused because I saw something, but you're telling me something else. It doesn't make sense. Like you're questioning my my intelligence or what I've seen. So for a lot of people, the same way you feel, those emotions that you can actually be very upset about what you've seen, and it can actually lead you to more like behaviors that can be destructive, conversations or thoughts that can actually be very harmful, because that, when you gaslight someone, it's like imagine putting someone on like a fire, you're hitting the person up a bit, it hurts. And nobody wants to feel that way. You can burn the person from it, just using that analogy, and nobody really wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to feel like their points or their value, they don't have value or they're not contributing something to conversation or to society, especially when they understand and they know what the truth is. And unfortunately, I think gaslighting is one of the things that a lot of Nigerians have had to deal with, especially during the whole electoral process. Even as we wrap the whole electoral process up, it's something that Nigerians are dealing with a lot. And it can leave quite lasting, almost like residue, negative residue with you that can come up eventually if you don't deal with it, if you don't address it. Negative emotions that you don't deal with at the moment because of what has happened in the past, if you don't talk about it and address it and find out why it's making you feel that way, you might find yourself acting out again, maybe 2 years later, maybe in the next election, maybe in the next anything else can actually trigger that and get you to respond in a way that you would not typically respond.
You see, I've just got free therapy session on TV showing my vulnerability because I saw what I saw, and so thanks Jimmy for let's go on.
Okay, so now how can the government better address the mental health needs of the people, the citizens, the public?
Yeah. So a lot of the times when we look at the government, we look at policies. We look at structures, we look at infrastructure, we look at personnel. we are very grateful for the bill, but that's like, you know, the beginning. Now, how do we now put that into motion? What are we going to do? What structures do we have existing? When we look at the personnel, do we have enough mental health practitioners available? What is the education looking like for them? Your primary mental health facilities, do you have people that are trained to support the people in the community? Because sometimes when we talk about mental health, it sounds like it's one of those fancy things that only people in the city enjoy. But it's something that is for everybody. People in the community, do they have staff, or do they have clients, or do they have personnel or professionals that can offer this basic care for them? Let's even start with that. So the government has a a big role to play in supporting with ensuring that we have the structures, we have the policies, we have the people, we have the infrastructure to provide mental health support. And even talking about the financing, I know you talked about therapy being expensive, and the reality is sometimes most mental health care can actually be quite expensive for some people. When you talk about your combination of your medication and combination of your therapy, it can be very expensive. And in some countries, you find that it's subsidized, and people can go in and get the basic mental health care that they need. So what the government can also do is to put policies in place that help people access, even if it's free, even if it's subsidized, to this mental health and care and services that are available.
Talking about mental health and policies, at some point I think we need to advocate for workplace, because human resources is meant to be for the people. But you have cases where you have a young girl being sexually harassed by the superior. You can have a superior who literally bullies the staff, and someone goes and reports to HR, because they are friends with that superior, go and say, oh, this is what's going on. And then you don't have people, so that which is why people now resort to coming on social media to drag and cancel and name and shame. Also with schools, secondary schools,
physical fitness is a state of health and well-being, and the ability to perform aspects of sports, occupations, and daily activities. Physical fitness is generally achieved through proper nutrition, physical exercise, and sufficient rest. Before the Industrial Revolution, fitness was defined as the capacity to carry out the day's activities without undue fatigue. However, with automation and changes in lifestyles, physical fitness is now considered a measure of the body's ability to function efficiently and effectively in work, leisure, and emergency activities. And with us on the spotlight today to discuss more about health and fitness, we have a fitness entrepreneur, Ogochukwu Erilim of Limo Dennis Fitness. Good morning, welcome to the Weekend Show.
It can be as basic as helping people manage their emotions.
Thank you so much.
As basic as helping people
I must say you're looking lovely. I didn't tell you that before we started.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you.
So can you tell us more about the Limo Dennis Fitness?
Because
what is it all about? What inspired it?
And I don't understand.
So actually Limo Dennis comes from my last name, and Dennis is my father's name.
Because we were not taught, and
I actually did pick up that passion when I did lose my grandma. May also rest in peace. I lost her as far back as 2014. And
appropriate behavior,
I thought to myself, I said, okay, she died of breast cancer. She was really young.
As adults,
and what would I do to actually, improve my health and just, I had the resources around me. So I was very, very, I would say it was more like a light bulb in my head. It just kind of turned on, and I told myself, I have to do better. So I started doing more research, and before I knew it, I was working out every day. So I started with more cardiovascular exercises, and then I started to understand the dynamic on how you could actually balance what you ate as well as your physical activity to give you the best result that you would want for yourself. So that's really, my inspiration, I would say. And then even as far back as growing up, my mom is a very healthy woman. We don't eat salt in my house. We don't eat spices. We drink lots of water. And we spend our time knowing how to, I would say, cook healthier. So That I know for sure. Response will be
brilliant.
What mental health?
Okay, I rebuke
that evil statement. That type of thing. So how do we make it a welcome topic within the family unit, and how do we get them to understand that this is?
And I know it's very important to have
just like having malaria,
healthy lifestyle, not just with your exercise,
it's part of your health, your mental health,
food and your nutrition as well. I think but can you just re-emphasize and tell us why
the narrative
need to practice
I always like
physical fitness activities?
The conversation about mental health has always been with us. Research now, I think the lifespan, the average lifespan of a Nigerian now is about 55 years, which is very, very poor. So it means that they're not even expecting that we can live longer than 55 years, and I think that's very sad. So what does it go back to? I think that you cannot emphasize it enough. So this year, I took the conscious decision to cut alcohol from my diet. I think that most times people do not understand that everything is a diet. So whatever you consume, whether it's how much time you spend on social media, the kind of environment that you have yourself in, so the kind of food that you eat, and most times, people have the excuse of, they're working a 9 to 5, so they have to sit down all day, and there's little or no activity in their, in their movement. I think that you should always try to plan yourself ahead of time. That's what helps me. So I typically try to incorporate at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. I think you should look for something that's a bit more reasonable. So you can start with skipping every day. You can start with, drinking a lot of water, as well as controlling your portion.
Maybe if you actually broke it down that much, you will understand that Nigerians actually do care about the mental health.
You can't kill yourself. Something must kill a man. Yes. So you want to eat, and then you're telling yourself that something must kill. No. That is not good for you. You always want to make sure that you're thinking of yourself not just for now, but for later. So you want to grow older, and you want to feel just as as you felt when you were younger. Just as healthy and strong.
But if you talk about how it's a prolonged sadness that affects your ability
people that work 9 to 5,
and you break it down for that
person, whose jobs don't require.
I think I've been experiencing this thing where I know what it is. But if you just come and put out the word like that,
which brings me to my next question.
For them to what is your advice for such people whose lifestyle
don't allow for time to actually maybe go to the gym or engage on any serious physical fitness exercise, or maybe they're just feeling too lazy, or maybe they have an injury or a condition or whatever, but maybe due to one reason or the other, they can't really go into strenuous physical activity.
Because the reality is that nobody
I think the only condition is if you're laying down in bed and you cannot put food into your mouth. So I think if it's important to you, then you create time for it. It's a lifestyle, that's the honest truth. So being healthy is almost like you live and breathe, health. So it's almost, they say your body is a temple. So however, whatever you put into it is how you're building that. So if I work in 9 to 5, I'm an investment banker, and as well as a fitness entrepreneur, so I have a gym as well. And the first thing I do is I already have 2 big bottles of water by my table. So I make sure that is my own way of saying, okay, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm making sure that I have consumed this amount of water. Okay, what am I going to eat for that day as well? Now, if you also feel like your activity is not as frequent, what we do in my office actually is we try to calculate the amount of movement or steps. So it's like a competition. So you can actually set that amongst you can make it a fun thing, whereas you guys can even put money on the table to say, okay, you know what, the person that has the most steps will get this amount, so that it actually motivates everyone to be up and doing. So there's always time for everything. I mean, you can't sit down and just say that you can't move. So you have to actually try and create that, lifestyle for yourself, honestly. That's what I'd say.
In addition to that, personally myself, because sometimes I try to work out as much as at least 4 times in a week, but sometimes when I see that I'm lagging behind, I try to take walks in the evening. Sometimes when I'm going home, I stop like a little distance before my house, and then I walk the rest of the distance. So that's just keeping myself.
It's kind of very good that you sort of noticed that this is something you can do as an addition to actually helping you. I actually gained a little over 10 kg over Christmas break. I was very excited, so I ate a lot. And when I realized that even with work, I couldn't get in as much physical activity, what did I do? I focused on my food. And with food alone, which consists of 80% of your fitness journey, if you can even just attack it from the aspect of food, then you're
already hitting it a long way, and now physical activity is just an added advantage for you to say, okay, you know what, you're keeping your heart racing. So what do you do? I mean, we have so many fitness, I would say experts or fitness trainers that you can always look at, you can always ask questions to sort of see what works for you. You know, some people have knee issues, and when they look at it, it means that they're overweight, but they do not know that. So you have to actually try your best to be as, you know, as agile as possible.
So does a balanced diet, does balanced nutrition substitute for physical activities?
I would say it substitutes. It's just like, it goes hand in hand. You know, they're like, you know, so it's like they're like husband and wife. It's just that the most important thing is you don't want to eat, you don't want to consume a lot of oil in your food or a lot of salt in your food, and it's almost like you're walking up the stairs and then you're out of breath. So I'm asking you, so what's the point of even trying to be physical if the main thing that gives you the fuel to be energized is not even, you know, playing the part that it's supposed to? So if you ask me, food is key. Make sure to eat your greens, make sure to drink a lot of water, because that already will cut out so many of the calories that you're so afraid of. Because I think now every Nigerian wants the